There's a difference between a woman who's happy when you're around and a woman who's building something around you, and most men can't tell which one they're in until months in. That confusion is normal. Liking and loving look almost identical on the surface, and the real differences only show up in small, specific behaviors most guys never think to look for. So here are 5 real differences between a woman who likes you and one who's falling in love with you, based on patterns in attachment behavior, not guesswork. This is where it starts. She makes room for you instead of making space around you. Is she adding you to her schedule or rebuilding her schedule around you? That's the first fork in the road, and it's easy to miss because both versions look like effort from the outside. A woman who likes you will text you when she's free, invite you into plans she already had, fold you into a life that was already running fine without you. That's not a bad thing. It's normal, early-stage interest. But a woman who's falling for you starts doing something different. She clears a night, specifically because she wants to see you, not because it happened to be open. She starts asking what you want to do before locking in her own plans. The shift isn't dramatic, it's structural. Liking is additive. You get added to an existing routine. Loving is architectural. The routine starts getting built with you already factored in. You'll notice it less in what she says and more in what quietly stops happening the way it used to. The plans that used to be automatic that now seem to pause for a beat. Like she's checking something against you before she finalizes it. That's not her becoming less independent. That's her recalculating around a variable that didn't used to exist. It's a small thing to track, but it's not a small thing. It's the first real signal that something has shifted from convenient to chosen. Most men miss this entirely. She enjoys your company, or she's quietly studying your patterns. Does she just enjoy being around you, or does she seem to already know how you operate before you've said a word about it? A woman who likes you will laugh at your jokes, remember your coffee order, have a good time when you're together. And that's genuinely nice, but it's surface-level enjoyment. A woman who's falling for you is doing something more demanding without making it obvious. She notices you're quieter than usual before you've mentioned anything's wrong. She catches when a joke is doing the work of covering for something heavier. She tracks your moods across weeks, not just the hour she's with you. This takes more effort than people realize. Sustained attention to another person's internal state isn't passive, it's active tracking. And people generally don't spend that kind of attention on someone they're just casually enjoying. Now, a fair counterthought here. Maybe she's just an observant person, period, and treats everyone this way. That's worth checking. Watch how she treats acquaintances versus how she treats you. If the noticing is reserved for you specifically and doesn't show up the same way with her friends or coworkers, that's not just personality, that's direction. The attention is pointed somewhere on purpose. It doesn't always come with an announcement. Most of the time, it just looks like her asking, "You okay?" at exactly the right moment, for no reason she can fully explain. You're reading this wrong. She shares the highlight reel, or she shares the unfinished stuff. Is she showing you her wins, or is she showing you the parts she hasn't worked out yet? A woman who likes you will tell you about a promotion, a fun weekend, the good stuff, the version of her life that's already polished and presentable. That's enjoyable to be around, but it's curated. A woman who's falling for you starts handing you the rough drafts instead. She tells you she's scared she doesn't actually deserve that promotion. She vents about something she hasn't said out loud to anyone else yet, not because it's a big dramatic confession, but because you happen to be there and it felt safe to say. According to research by Aaron and colleagues from 1997 on closeness and self-disclosure, mutual vulnerable sharing accelerates how close two people feel to each other, far more than pleasant, surface-level conversation does. That tracks with what you're seeing here. Sharing wins is easy. Anyone can hand you their highlights. Sharing doubt, fear, or something half-formed and unresolved means she's decided you're safe enough to see her without the edit. That's not a small upgrade in trust. That's the difference between being someone she enjoys talking to and being someone she actually talks to. Try this and watch what happens. Notice what she reaches for when something goes wrong. Next time she's had a rough day, notice who she actually goes to. Here's a small thing you can actively try instead of just observing from a distance. When she mentions something went badly, work, a friend, anything minor, resist the urge to immediately fix it. Just ask her, "What do you need right now?" and pay attention to what she actually says. If she names something specific involving you, your time, your presence, a particular kind of support, that's real data about where you sit in her life. If she deflects with, "I'm fine, I'll figure it out," that's data too. And it's not automatically a bad sign. Some people process alone first. The point isn't to catch her failing a test. It's that liking tolerates someone being nearby during hard moments. Loving means actively wanting that specific person there, not just not minding that they showed up. A fair objection here. Maybe she's just independent and doesn't lean on anyone, ever. Fine. Independence and wanting someone specific aren't opposites. Watch who she lets in during the hard moments, not whether she technically needs anyone at all. You're not testing her loyalty with this. You're just finally paying attention to where she turns when things get a little messy, instead of only watching how she acts when things are easy. This is the real signal. She pictures now, or she pictures later, with you already in it. Does she talk about next month, next year, in a way that already has you written into it? A woman who likes you stays present-focused. She's enjoying tonight, this weekend, whatever's directly in front of her, which is genuinely fine and normal. A woman who's falling for you starts slipping into future tense, without flagging it as a big moment. She says, "We should try that place sometime," versus, "When we go on that trip," like the trip is already decided and just waiting on logistics. She mentions you to her own plans casually, the way you'd mention something settled, not something hypothetical. This kind of unconscious future inclusion is one of the more reliable behavioral signals that attachment has deepened. People fold significant others into their imagined future without meaning to make a statement about it. It just happens once someone matters enough to plan around. It's easy to miss because it never sounds like a declaration. It sounds like a passing comment. But when you're already showing up in her sentences about a year from now, that's not wishful thinking on your part. That's how she's actually started to see things, whether she's said it directly or not. So that's 5 real differences, and here's the part most guys skip past. You've spent this whole video checking her behavior against a list. Now flip it. How many of these are you actually doing for her? Are you restructuring your time around her, or just adding her into what was already convenient? Which one of these 5 hit closest to home? For her, or honestly, for you? Drop it in the comments, because that's usually the more useful answer anyway. Hit like if you're still thinking about it, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next.